Hey, welcome back to the How To Podcast series. This is Dave, sipping on my coffee and recording an episode for you, and I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to talk about 10 things that you should never do when starting a podcast. I'm calling them my 10 to-don'ts instead of 10 to-dos. Here we go. 10 to-don'ts. That sounds fun to say. You can try it. Here we go. 10 to-don'ts. On the How to Podcast series, I amuse myself. Here we go. So you're going to get on any search on Google, typically 10 to-dos when starting a podcast. It's like everywhere. What about 10 to-don'ts? I don't know. Am I creating words here? 10 to-don'ts for when starting a podcast. There are some things I think you should probably avoid when starting your show. So here are some things that I've heard back from others starting shows or asking questions about starting their show. We have a Zoom room that we do every Friday, 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, twice on Fridays, just for you. It's free to come and sit in. You can come for 5 minutes. You can stay for the entire time. And we talk about these things together with other podcasters around the world. If you want to meet other podcasters, you want to get out of the basement, get away from your lonely recording space, and talk to people who are doing this podcasting thing, reach out to howtopodcast.ca. I would love to have you come by, and we would love to bring you into the group and give you a chance to talk to some amazing podcasters and ask your questions. But here are 10 to-don'ts for not when you're starting your podcast of things you should not do. Okay? So number 1, don't skip planning and organizing your podcast with a clear direction and a schedule. Don't skip this step. Don't skip the planning step. Make sure you take time to plan out what you want to talk about. And I would love to encourage you when you're thinking about your topic, get a calendar, whether it's on your Gmail account or whatever you have for your calendar. A paper calendar even works too. And write out in advance what you're going to talk about. Theme out maybe if your podcast embraces themes like special holidays or spring, summer, winter, fall, those types of things. Any holiday that relates to your topic, include those. Include your interviews, if you're going to have an interviews on your podcast, and your solo topics, however you're going to do your podcast. But plan it out instead of going week to week trying to figure out what's next. Exception would be if you have a news podcast, because you and I, unless you have a secret way of figuring out what's happening in the future, you have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. So you're going to have to do something a little bit more current, and it's a little harder to plan out. But don't skip the stage of planning and organizing your podcast at the beginning. It'll give you a runway. Every airplane needs a runway, some space to go from a standing still to in the air. Your podcast needs a runway, and that comes through planning and organizing. So number 1, don't skip planning and organizing your podcast. Number 2, don't skip out on good audio quality by using things that don't serve you as a podcaster. Okay, a laptop microphone built into your laptop is going to make you sound like you're underwater. Okay, and it's not going to be the best experience for your listener. And you are up against some of the most amazing podcasts with a team of 20 that create podcasts that cost thousands of dollars per episode and have to get funding for these podcasts that cost thousands of dollars. You're creating something on your computer, your laptop, whatever you're using to record with. You don't have that kind of overhead where your podcast has to meet a certain dollar amount or it gets cut. So, but don't cheap out on your recording gear. And again, if all you have is a phone, if all you have is what you have to start, again, you know my message, start. But as you grow, add to that and try to make your equipment better. For me, I'm a guitar player. I can go down to a pawn shop, buy a $25 guitar, And it's going to sound like a $25 guitar, because it is. I can also then go save my money, work hard, get extra work at work, another shift, whatever it is, save up money, and then go and spend it on a nicer guitar, which will give me easier to play, sound better live, sound better in the studio, because I invested in it. Okay? So it'll make it easier for you if you were able to put some time and money into your equipment. So don't skip out on having good audio quality for your podcast. If you need help, reach out, let me know. Number 3, don't skip researching your topic. Don't just fly by the seat of your pants and hope that something comes out of your mouth that's gold. Do some research. Focus on your target audience and try to find your unique angle. And if you're like, Dave, I don't know what my unique angle is. There's so many people talking about my topic. Your unique angle is you. There's no one else in the world like you. Your uniqueness is you. So embrace your uniqueness. Okay. Number 4, don't skip out on creating attractive branding and artwork for your podcast. As you go, if you're a listener to podcasts, you go to your podcast app, whatever you use, and you scroll through, take a look at what catches your eye and take a look at things that make you go, oh, what's this? What makes you want to click that button and listen to that podcast? What visually are you seeing on your screen that captures your attention? And then do that so that people will have the same experience when they see your podcast. So avoid tiny little words, avoid certain things that just don't work for you. Create something that you would click on when you look at the artwork for your show, which is also the same artwork that should carry over into your social media, your YouTube, your everything, your website should all have the same theme. So somebody who finds you and then clicks on a link knows they're still with you the entire time. Make it consistent, okay? So don't skip out on attractive branding and artwork for your podcast. Number 5, don't forget to promote your episodes through various channels to reach more listeners. Now, this is the one that I struggle with the most because I have 7 shows. One show has over 225 episodes right now. And it's just this factory line of podcasts that are just next and next and next and next, different release schedules. And it's crazy because it's like you think you're done after you've hit stop on the recording and you say goodbye to your guest, but it's just starting. You have so much to do. And I know I need to do better at this myself. So this one's really for me. You can borrow this, but don't skip out on promoting your episodes through various channels. And make sure your guest knows when the podcast episode comes out. Let them know. Okay. So I'm working on behind the scenes of my podcast, how I can do this on a more consistent basis so my guest knows when their episode comes out. I've been on shows myself as guest. I have no idea if the episodes ever come out. I don't know. No idea. So I'm trying to figure out a better way to do that. If you have a suggestion, reach out to me, howtopodcast.ca. I'd love to have you on because you could help me and help my audience. But as well, I'd love to get your feedback. So howtopodcast.ca, click the little speak pipe, leave me a message. That'd be great. Number 6, don't skip sticking to a consistent schedule to build your audience trust. Don't skip this step. Do something on a consistent basis. Think of your favorite television show, series, whatever that you watch or you engage in. Do they have a random schedule? Are they releasing Mondays and then next week it's Thursday at noon and then the following week it's Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m.? Like, how do you plan, right? The beauty of podcasting is it does your episodes, if you follow and subscribe, which I'd encourage you to do for this podcast, is it shows up in your listening app as an unlistened episode ready for you to listen. So I use Spotify, I use Google, and all my episodes, as they download, they go into a folder, and then I just click on the folder, and I just play all my podcasts all group into one. That's kind of how I do it. So the beauty is I don't have to listen to your show when it comes out at 6 a.m. on a Monday morning because I'm not listening at 6 a.m. on Monday morning. But when I get to it at 7 p.m. Monday night, it's there waiting for me. And I have some I have some routine built around who I'm listening to and when. It's a great way to kind of schedule out your listening habits as a listener. And if you can be as consistent as possible, you'll reward your listeners with great episodes. So number 7 in our to-don'ts. Don't skip planning your episodes with a clear structure to help avoid you from going off topic. Now, okay, I'm going to say this. There's some podcasts I listen to, and I can tell that they haven't put a lot of work in at the beginning, because when they read to me on their episode, as they're running through their episode, you can tell they're reading things for the first time. They don't know how to pronounce a word. They don't know how to pronounce a name. They're saying words they've never heard before. They're looking for links to something they're talking about. They're like, hey, just hang on 1 second, and you hear them typing on their keyboard, trying to figure out what they're going to say next. Don't skip planning your episodes. Value the time for your listener so your listener understands that this isn't just kind of thrown together last minute, and come with clarity, come with a focus so that your listener doesn't get bored, and avoid the tangents if at all possible. I'm putting my hand up as a listener. There's some of the shows I listen to, and the host goes off on so many random tangents that have nothing to do with the topic episode. And you're like, why are we talking about what's in your fridge right now? We're here talking about something different. I'm not interested in what's in your fridge. Okay, so focus in and let's stay on topic. Okay, number 8 on our to-don'ts. Don't forget to engage with your audience by responding to their feedback and to their questions. Don't skip this step. When we put a call out to ask for feedback on our podcast or on our topic or on our guest, and we get that email or we get that speak pipe or we get that message on social media, don't forget to engage with that person, and don't put them into some automated response thing. Respond to them personally. And what I love for Instagram in particular is a voice message, because a voice message cannot be done in bulk with one click or a virtual assistant or whatever. It's me. It's Dave. So I love to go out to Instagram, and especially new followers or anyone leaves a comment, and respond back to them and say, hey, I'm here, I'm listening to you, and I just wanted to say thanks for following and being part of the community. And that's kind of what I like to do to help encourage new listeners. Okay, so number 9 in our to-don'ts. Don't stop seeking collaboration opportunities with other podcasters or experts, even if they talk about your topic. Don't stop collaborating. What a great way to get in front of more people, by just simply getting on a podcast, even if it's in the same topic as you. There's a podcaster I'm talking to right now, and they have a podcast that's almost identical to this one. And you're like, Dave, why would you go on there? Aren't you afraid that I might like their podcast better than yours? Then awesome. If their podcast serves you better, please go there and get the best of what serves you. And if you're coming here because you've been somewhere else and you're like, nah, that didn't work for me, great. Welcome to the family. This is How to Podcast series. Don't neglect collaborating. That's the beauty of this. We are all on at different times of the day, different days of the week. There's lots of room for you and those around you. And I've heard many people talk about how radio is more competitive because when you're in the morning drive, you have multiple people on different channels doing the morning drive, and you can't bounce back and forth, and you can only listen to the morning drive on the morning drive. So you have to pick one. And that means you're picking a bunch that you're not going to listen to. In podcasting, you can listen to many shows, which I listen to many shows. And I can choose and pick and listen on my schedule. So there's room for all of us. Don't neglect collaborating with others even in your area. We are here to work together, build each other up, and support each other. So that's number 9, is don't stop collaborating with others. And the last on our top 10 list of to-don'ts when starting a podcast, number 10, don't stop. Well, there you go. Don't give up, even if you see your growth is slow in the beginning. Don't stop. The truly successful podcasts are those that don't stop. The moment you stop your podcast, that's it. You're done. So stay committed and don't give up, even if growth is slow at first. And that's going to seem hard because there's people that reach out to me and say, I'm looking to leave my full-time job with benefits, and I have a mortgage, a car payment, 3 kids. My grocery bill is this much a week. My spouse partner doesn't work. I'm the only income earner for my home, and I'm going to quit my job and start a podcast. How soon can I have money for my show? They have no audience. They have no social media presence, no followers. No one's ever heard of them before, and they're ready to cash in on the sweet cash that seems to pour from everywhere in podcasting. It's going to take a while. To be honest, it's going to take a while before you, unless you have some amazing name or celebrity behind you, it's going to take a while before you're going to see anything come through of any significant value. So if this is the answer to a job you don't like, I would say find a different job that you like that gives you freedom to podcast, and then grow into your podcast. But don't stop, even if the numbers are low in the beginning. Because as you show up for your audience on a consistent basis, as we talked about, you deliver great content. So you can be consistent and offer terrible content. That doesn't help you grow. You want to show up with great content that people are looking forward to on a regular basis and tell people about when you're not in the room. That's what you need to be successful in podcasting. And that's my challenge to you. As you plan out, as you figure out what your podcast is about, how are you going to measure your success? For some people, it's to make money with their podcast. Great. There's a path for that. For some of them, it's just to have fun and talk to family. Great. Maybe you just want to meet really amazing people that would probably never answer the phone or an email from you, but you have a podcast and now they want to talk to you, and that's all you want. You don't even care about making any money from your podcast. You just want to meet these amazing people. Excellent. Whatever you want, you can have that through a podcast, and you have everything you need to start one. And here on the How to Podcast series, that's the goal for what we do here, is we want you to start your show and be successful. So keep in mind these 10 to-don'ts when starting your podcast. So you're there again, one more time before we go. 1, don't start a new podcast without planning or organization. 2, don't overlook the importance of good audio quality. 3, don't skip proper research on your topic or target audience. 4, don't neglect creating attractive branding and artwork for your show. Number 5, don't forget to promote your episodes through various channels. 6, don't have an inconsistent release schedule that confuses your audience. Number 7, don't have poorly planned episodes with no clear structure. Number 8, don't ignore your audience's feedback and questions. Number 9, don't miss out on collaboration opportunities with other podcasts or experts. And lastly, number 10 in our list of to-don'ts when starting a new podcast, don't give up too soon. Stay committed to your podcast's growth. By avoiding all of these 10 to-don't statements, you'll be able to steer clear of common pitfalls and increase your chances of launching a successful podcast. If you need help in launching your podcast, if you need someone to come beside you and work with you one-on-one, if you want a group setting where you can meet other podcasters and nerd out on podcasting and ask your questions in a safe place for free, head over to howtopodcast.ca. Would love to meet with you there. Love to get your feedback on this episode. And let me know, is there another to-don't that we should add to our list? Would love to hear from you. Over at howtopodcast.ca, my name is Dave, and I'm here to help you start a podcast. Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next one on the How to Podcast series.